This is one of the radios I just recently restored. It's an Emerson 540A. I got it about a few months ago, probably 3 or 4 months ago, at a Mid-Atlantic Antique Radio Club meet. Paid about $16 for it. It was the brown bakelite version, and it was in about 8 pieces when I got it. The whole top here was coming out, the whole side had broken off. It looked like it fell around this area because a few pieces were missing from here. A big chunk was missing from here. And all along this section here was all cracked and broken. So that's why nobody wanted to pay more than, you know, 16 bucks for it. But I knew I could fix it, so I took it home, and somebody tried to glue it together with some sort of milk glue or something, and you know, I had to chip all that out of there because they didn't put it together right. And I put it together with super glue, and you know, I filled this area in here and all this in here with the JB weld, 5-minute JB weld, and I filled this all in with auto body filler, and I sanded it down with 400 grit sandpaper, and then sprayed it with primer, and then sprayed it with red enamel. It looks pink in the looks pink through the camera, but it's red enamel, and that came out good. And then the electronic restoration was a pain too. It's very cramped. The radio's so small it doesn't even have a tuning capacitor. It's slug tuned, so you know, of course it's going to be cramped. And getting to the electrolytics for the hard part. They hid them underneath an IF can they stuck underneath the chassis, so you had to carefully pull out the IF can, and then you get to the electrolytics. So I just replaced them with inboard electrolytics, 300 450 volt capacitors, and they're originally dual 20s or dual 40s. I'm sorry. And so the radio does play very well. I replaced most of the resistors. They were all mostly out of tolerance, and all the paper capacitors. I redid the mica capacitors inside the IF transformers because they were going bad. And other than that, that's all I really had to do. The 50B5 and the 35W4 both went out when I first used it for a little bit, so I had to replace those. Now I'll show you while it plays. I had to replace the dial bulb. The one in there had gone. It's very cramped. There's no room in there for anything. You know, the tubes are quarter inch or so apart. You know, every other one has to have a tube shield on it, or else the thing will oscillate really bad. It's a very sensitive radio too. I can pick up tons of stations on it.
Other games of interest around the Commonwealth.
This is just the low end of the dial.
Showing us a phenomenal championship game, but I don't know that. And I'm not a Tebow guy.
This is about 1,500 or so.
I recognize what he's done for Collins, but I heard that
1,500.
I don't have
See if I can get 630. That's 700, 740 from Toronto. There you go.
With the Bob Dylan hit, it ain't me, but
in many ways to have.
There's a big fluorescent right above me, so on some stations it'll make that tone. But this is 630.
Once again, reborn.
She's wanting to raise her voice.
This is a very small radio. It's you know, I'm surprised they could squeeze a full 5-tube circuit in there. And for comparison, I have a pair of channel locks, and you can see that it's you know, it's a very small radio, and it's no wonder that a lot of them, you know, got yanked by the power cord and fell and hit the floor. There was never any feet or anything on the bottom of these radios, so you know, they would slide real easy, and you know, fall to their death or whatever. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Stop it.